the understanding that essentially the Jing is all that the Jing is what we get from our parents, what we inherit from our parents, are essentially our DNA, our code. And that also in Chinese medicine, of course, comes with all kinds of energetic accompaniments and spiritual accompaniments. Plus, whatever we conserve in our life day to day from the energy that we take in and create through all the various processes and the various officials in the organs, pardon me. So, so essentially, we have the ancestral qi, the Wan qi, right, which we get from our parents, which is finite. It's you get what you get, you know. And there's a certain aspect of that that has to do with our constitution, you know, like the image for the three treasures is the candle, you know, and the wax is the Jing part of the candle. So however much wax you've got to start with, that's however much wax you've got. And if your candle is sitting in a draft, it's going to burn quicker. You know, if you have a lot of stress going on, then, you know, your constitution is limited. So a lot of the practices that we know about, the, you know, Qigong, Tai Chi, acupressure, acupuncture, herbal medicine was essentially developed by the Taoists to conserve the Jing for longevity, right? To keep from blowing out burning the candle too quick. And what we wanted to look at in terms of our organization and our members is what is our inheritance? If you look at your own Jing, you are essentially a convention, a coming together of all your ancestors. And if you think back, you know, if you think what that means, there's a whole bunch of people behind you. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you've inherited through your genetic makeup. And we're learning more and more about that these days. The whole field of epigenetics, where we also understand that whatever your genetic makeup, a lot of what gets expressed in the genetic makeup has to do with your experiences. And that would be the qi part, the activity and what we're exposed to and how we respond. So the genetic makeup of us individually is something that many cultures have paid a lot of attention to giving honor to the ancestors and to their role in our lives. So individually, we can kind of tap into that. We can tap into what we've inherited in terms of how we live in the world. A lot of that has to do with how our ancestors lived in the world and what kinds of environment and conditions they lived in. And also, there's a whole aspect also the Taoists talk about, the whole transformation of qi, that the Jing actually is the map for how we take in energy and transform it into energy that's usable in the body. And if you look at it from a Western science point of view, basically the DNA is the recipe. The DNA molecules are the recipe for every protein in the body. And that has to do with all the stuff about respiration, taking in oxygen and transforming it, taking in food and transforming it, right? So the instructions for how to do that, how to create qi, how to create energy that we can use is contained in the DNA, is contained in the Jing, right? So as we move through life, also how we respond to conditions can be based a lot on our knee-jerk reactions, on our instincts that come from the DNA. And it can also be based on consciousness, which is where the Shen comes in. You know? So the point of view of paying attention to how we respond, paying attention to what kind of energy we're using in relationship to our conditions, you know, has to do also with how we conserve life. The Taoists say that all of those energy transformations that we go through, that the body knows how to do in order to make qi, right, essentially ends up with a couple different kinds of qi, which is the wei qi and the yin qi, the defensive energy and the nourishing energy. And those kind of fuel all the processes. And anything that's left over from the daily use of those energies gets stored as part of the Jing. It's the reserve energy. Right? And hopefully we store enough reserve energy from our daily intake that we can use it when there are unusual circumstances that call on more qi than the normal. Okay? And the other part of that is that excess, that reserve energy also is what goes into the Jing, or the reproductive energy, the sexual energy, which when combined with Shen, with a spirit, becomes a human being. Right? So the reproductive process has to do also that Jing needs to be combined with spirit, with the Shen, in order to become a person. And if you think about that, it's like the spirit also kind of chooses what conditions to be born into, chooses the body, the family, the place in the world. And that also is essentially, the Shen is described as the Tao expressed through human being. So the Shen also, we talk about it as stored in the heart, and our responses to the world come, the heart official responds to conditions in the world appropriately if it's in touch with the Tao, right? And so that whole connection between the Shen and the Tao and the Jing is a very important connection. You know, that we begin with the Shen and the Jing, and we live our lives hopefully in alignment with the flow of the Tao through our experiences and our position in time and space, our position as a human being, as an individual. So the Jing is our potential. It's what we come in with, but it's also meant to be connected with our spiritual manifestation, our manifestation of the Tao, which is much less stressful if we are in alignment with the Tao and with our purpose as we move through life. So that's, as an individual, we also essentially, AOBTA as an organization also has Jing. It has our inheritance. What came together? What was the convention of people and organizations that came together to create this organization? What are our teachings? The foundation upon which we have come together, and we've come together to accomplish something. And then also through our activity, what's our potential to manifest in the world, and what are we manifesting in the world? You know, so what I wanted to do was just a little brief meditation, sort of getting in touch with those aspects of things, with our individual potential and our manifestation, our inner three treasures, and then also bringing that to bear on what the three treasures are in relationship to the AOBTA and the Asian Bodywork Therapy community as well. Okay. So get comfortable. You might want to close your eyes and go inside. Just start by being aware of your breath. Letting the breathing in and breathing out bring you into the present moment. And on your next in-breath, just let your mind follow your breath down inside yourself to a place that is home for you inside, a place that is safe and comfortable and beautiful. And just notice what it is about that place that makes it safe, that makes it comfortable, that makes it beautiful. Now, from that place, you might notice that there's an opening of some kind that leads deeper inside into your inner world. It might be a stair, it might be a tunnel, it might be a doorway, it might just be an opening. But this is the entryway into that deepest part of ourselves that knows our inner being. And just follow that passageway and you will come to the gate of inner knowing. And at that gate, you will meet a guardian, a guide, and just pay some attention to the gate itself and to the guide. The guide might be a being, it might be an object, it might be a shape, it might be a color, it might just be a presence. But ask that guide to show you how to find the place where your treasures are stored. And ask the guide to take you to that place where your treasures, your inner treasures, are stored. Your inheritance, who you are, your activity, what you do, and your spirit. You may find when you get to that place that there is a guardian there also, a guardian of the treasures. And you may want to ask that guardian for permission to look, to experience those treasures. Take a moment just to notice if the treasures are in a container, if there's something that holds those treasures and what that is. And when you have permission from the guardian, just experience what those treasures are. You might see an image of what they are. You might hear a description of what they are. You might feel an energy of what they are. But just take a moment to do a little inventory of what your treasures are. What is your potential? What have you manifested? And this is a place you can come back to whenever you like to find out more about this and about yourself. And just for now, pay attention to one or two of those treasures that you'd like to bring back with you to the community of Asian bodywork therapy. One or two of those personal treasures that you have that you can bring to the community. Find a way to remember them, either by an image or by a word or by a feeling. Thank the guardian and ask the guide to bring you back to the gate of inner knowing. You might want to ask that guardian at the gate of inner knowing if there's anything else that it would like you to be aware of today. Thank it for its assistance and for its knowledge. And then find your way back to that safe and comfortable and beautiful space from which you started. Once you're there, take a moment to pay attention to the treasures that you've brought with you. And when you're ready, come back to the present time here in this place, where you are in space and time. And let your eyes open and come back. And you might want to take a moment to write down what you found and what you brought with you. And what I'd like to do now is actually ask people to share some of what they brought with them back from this journey. What we're going to ask you to do is type something in the chat, and Matthew's going to call on people and unmute you so you can talk as we share these treasures with each other.
Don't be shy. Well, unless you are shy.
Go ahead and do it.
I'll just jump in, if I may. It reminded me of a visit to a Japanese tea house. Many years ago during my training, we visited a Japanese tea house in Manhattan. And it was described to us as an extraordinary place where you enter in, you duck below the little door and you enter into this sacred, deep place. And you can connect in that place to your spirit and to the activities of your life and the direction that you have for your life. And I've always used that model to frame my understanding of my treatment room and my classroom, that when clients enter the treatment room, they enter that extraordinary place. And when students enter the classroom, we enter an extraordinary place in which we can do our work together to connect to our spirit, connect to our body, connect to our activities of life for healing and care. So that's my share. And I see that Sherry Husk has also, I hope I pronounced your last name correctly, Sherry, that you've entered something in the chat. So I'd invite you to be unmuted and share, please, your vision.
Thank you, Matthew. Sherry Husky, actually the correct pronunciation is Husk German, but here we say Husky. It was really fun meditation. I go to a castle where there's the moat and the bridge, and I've got all the soldiers, and I'm sitting on the throne with my dog next to me, and my treasure chest sat behind me, and it was actually my dog that was guarding it, so that was kind of fun. There's a gentleman with long gray hair and a staff that's the guide that shows me where to go. And I think teaching came up about 100 times during that meditation, so that's exciting. And sharing, right? Sharing what I have learned with the AOBTA community, clients, anyone who wants to know, I'm willing to share what I know with them.
That's interesting. You say teaching came up 100 times?
Pretty much. A good thing I just became a teacher, hey?
I guess so. You're going to sign up for your certified instructor interview next, huh?
Oh,
Thank you.
Well, if people don't type in the chat, let's just go around. Hey, Ruth. Can you unmute Ruth?
I think I'm unmuted.
Okay.
Hi, Deborah.
Can you tilt your camera down so we can see more than your eyes? Thank you.
Can you see I was eating my lunch?
Ah,
I have broccoli between my teeth.
Oh,
But anyway,
this is a lunch and learn, you know.
yeah, that's right.
yeah.
So what came up for me very strongly was an ability I have to see potential in other people. Sometimes seeing something that they haven't seen in themselves. And by sharing some of that with them and then encouraging them to discover a little more, for me, that's extremely satisfying. And I think it develops my chi and my wisdom as well as I listen to them evolving.
Yeah. And I think one of the things also about how we know that we're tapping into our true potential is it makes us happy.
Yes. Yes.
It's not a sacrifice. It's not something we
No,
give
it's
up
a
to do
deep,
it.
deep happiness, contentment, satisfaction, and it's stimulating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
you.
Thank you.
Jennifer, you're on the hot seat.
Am I on?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it feels very personal right now to share with a group that I don't really know that well.
Yeah.
So, but I really was in touch just with all the three energies and the proportion of them, and more places of where they're stuck. So I've been going through a very difficult time. So I'm just working with that. So I really appreciate that. But I think for me, it's just radiating love. Just radiate love.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I always see chi and I actually always see the three treasures as just different forms of loving energy, different forms of exertion, different forms of transformation.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's just coming back and finding that balance, because I always feel I besides doing acupressure, I also teach qigong. So I always feel that wherever places that I go to and heal, and since I do a lot of work for emotional balancing with people, in that I always feel that the deeper and the more I understand my own workings, then that is the place that I can also help other people understand their workings.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you reminded me of something. When I was thinking about this, you know, I working with clients, I often sort of the whole idea of our potential and our life purpose, you know, is there's like a riddle that each of us has, a life riddle that we're solving, we're trying to figure out, and the answer to all of those riddles is love.
Yeah.
It just always comes back to that, you know, how do we get in touch with that, and how do we emanate it? Yeah. So thanks for that reminder. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pat, your turn.
She's got to be muted though. There,
Whoop.
there we go. Wait.
Just one of you do it. This is like the unlocking the car door thing. Yeah.
There we go.
Right.
Okay, great. So we were both trying to do it. Sorry about
Right.
that. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Hello, everyone. It's great to see some familiar faces up there.
Hi, Pat.
So the two things that I really sat here and came away from that meditation with were such an incredible presence from my ancestries, and the amount of strength and perseverance that it has taken for all of the generations before me to bring themselves and to me in this moment. I just felt so very, very clearly My ancestry happens to be Irish, and we're known to be really strong, get it done kind of people.
Right.
And I really appreciate that that's what I have been imbued with in this life for my ancestral journey. And another thing that I came away from that was with, which is a bit surprising, is that in contrast to Sherry, who came away with this impulse to teach, I constantly, every day, find myself in front of groups of people teaching or doing the other things that I do in life. And the image that I came away with was that I was standing at the back of a bunch of people who were looking the other way, and I was behind them, pushing them in that direction. A different position for me to see myself in compared to what I already do in everyday life. So that's something for me to really sit with and examine how that might look in my life going forward.
Yeah. Cool. Great. Thanks. Is it Kara? Can you unmute?
Kara?
You have to unmute her.
Kara Esberg? We don't see your video.
She's also muted, Matthew.
Okay, yes. Well, might be a pass.
Okay.
Nothing in the chat from Kara.
Okay. Piers, can you come back? I saw your picture before.
Hi, I'm sorry. I was a little late for the class today. I just joined in. I'm sorry. Was there a question you asked?
We just did a little meditation, getting in touch with our own inner three treasures. So I was just asking people to share what they came away with.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was a little late, so I just joined in after your meditation. So I'm sorry I missed it.
So do you have any thoughts about, if you think about the three treasures for yourself personally, like your potential, your original instructions, if you will, in terms of the Jing and how that manifests in the world?
Well, I think for me, I just really feel drawn to learn. I feel drawn to learn, and I feel drawn to help in any way I can with whatever training I've received. So that's pretty much what I see.
Oh, great. Thanks. Okay. Deborah.
Okay, Deborah, you're unmuted. If you have anything to share with us.
Sure.
Yeah, we can't see your face, so that's okay though. If you want to give us your video, that's fine. But if not, you can just give us your voice. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Great.
Well, I have to admit, I probably needed a little more time with the meditation because I have personally been doing some ancestral work, and so I got a little lost in that. I always have to journey back to my healthy ancestors who were pretty far back before I can bring something forward from there. So, but it's a work in process. So
you've really been doing some work with the Jing and the convention of those before you.
yes,
Yeah.
and it's very useful work to sort of cut the ties that bind from more recent generations. So I may come back to this in the recording and try it again and see where that leads with a little more.
Yeah, that doorway of inner knowing is really precious. Talk about precious and finding a guide to take you to your three treasures. Yeah, that's a beautiful process. I'm reminded, Deborah, of I put it in the chat earlier. It was something about I think it was either Irish or Scottish tradition. They have something called the 8 surnames, where you actually go back to the great-great-grandparents' generation, and there are 8 different surnames, and that's more. Everyone knows there are 8 surnames. So your identity isn't just that one surname you got from that one father. It's 8 surnames, which gives you access to a whole panoply of additional Jing, you know, genetic information that came down, and you can reach in and find that one great ancestor who was actually balanced and healthy, you know, or had figured something out that, you know, your other ancestors hadn't figured it out yet. So.
Well, it's interesting too in terms of the Jing and our inheritance. It's like a lot of spiritual teachers say we have our individual potential, but
Right.
the family we were born into also has a potential, has a purpose, and the culture we were born into and the country we were born into. You know, it's so there are all those layers of potential and of purpose, and also just reminding, you know, Deborah too, the thing about what I love about the epigenetic studies is that we have these potentials that we've inherited, you know, from all of those guys, you know, good or bad, whatever, whether we like them or not, right? But what we give energy to, right? There's the chi part. What we give energy to is what is expressed, right? And that, you know, it's just, that's recent Western science discovery, right? That it isn't just what you inherited, that's what you got, you know? So we also, with our consciousness, with our Shen, we make the choices, right, about what we give energy to and what we manifest. So, yeah. So Kamala.
Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, you can hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Nice to see everybody.
Yeah.
Hi, Kamala.
Yeah. I appreciate what everybody's been saying, and I certainly resonate with it. I had this thought too, as you were talking, Deborah, that what we do and the way we use that energy, the choices that we make, also affect our ancestors, whether living or dead, so that we have the capacity to change some of that information in the line, forward and backward even.
Yeah.
As I've understood it or heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that makes what we do, gives it more purpose and meaning, for me at least.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it does that. Yeah. So
yeah, the Buddhists say there is no time. It's a construct. Everything in the past and in the present and in the future is all existing now.
Right.
What you're saying, right?
Right, exactly. And even, you know, if you think about what they know now about memories, it's like memories can get kind of jimmy whacked in your mind over time, right? They get mixed up or, you know, like that. So why not the bigger thing too, you know? Just how all that memory works and readjusts and resettles in, you know? Yeah. I liked I liked your visualization, and I think for me, what I saw, which was a little bit of pieces of what other people said, you know, a spiritual guardian that I am aware of, and for me, it was just sort of this image of pots, right? The Jing, the Chi, the Shen. It was interesting that each one got a little bigger, like the Jing was, you know, and then the Chi was a little bigger, and the Shen was a little bigger, and I just had this feeling like, well, you know, you're getting older, you're Jing, you know, you kind of got to watch it, you know, but that the Shen was bright, and that was certainly something, and the Chi was good too, and the Shen was bright, so that's certainly something, you know, I can share.
Was it like a 3-quart saucepan, a 5-quart saucepan, and a pasta pot?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's interesting that you use the pasta pot. I mean, with the Italian heritage here, you're picking up on that. Yeah.
We all know Big Anthony, right?
Yeah.
Streganone.
Sì. Certo.
How about Joy? Are you with us? Is there a way we can see your face? You're unmuted.
Hi, Joy.
Hello.
She might be shy.
Okay.
Oh,
And who haven't we, the 415, is that, who is that? 415 number, phone number? Is that Cindy by any chance?
don't know.
Don't know.
It's a
Okay.
mystery. There are a couple of mystery
Okay. Well,
attendees.
thank you all for sharing, and I hope that you can continue to explore this. And we would really love it if you have stories about your experience, with the three treasures, both in your own life and in your sharing with clients, and also stories about your connection with the community, with AOBTA, in the historical perspective. And there's nothing, there's no prerequisite about how important it is. It's all important. All our histories are important. All our histories inform us of what the Shen is of our community, what our emanation is, what our manifestation is. So please, Brian is the person to share with. You can send any of these stories to media@AOBTA, and we'd really appreciate all that kind of sharing. And anybody who's listening in later, please also share. And if you have, if you do the meditation and you're listening in, after the fact, and you have some experiences that you want to share, please also send them in.
I wonder if Brian would like to share his experience of the meditation.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm leaving you guys out. So Wayne
Brian and Wayne.
and Matthew, right?
I already shared a little.
All right, I'm going to go for it. Okay.
Yay.
So a couple of points. One is my wife is Japanese and all her family's in Japan, and her father, my father-in-law, is the guy with the family shrine. Yeah, so you look in this thing, it's pretty big, and all the photos of the ancestors are up there. And daily they pray in the morning.
Wow.
And we here in the States, in our family, we have a little shrine set up. And we don't have all the ancestors pictured on there, but we have a select few. To Matthew's point, there's one person, my grandfather on my mother's side, that I really had a connection with. And so he for sure is up there, right? And then I have my daily routine of, before I do my first zazen, shikantaza of the day, I go around, I pray to the ancestors and this figure, Ojizo-san. Then I go over to Kanon-sama, and then I've got some other figures, the primary one of which is Daruma. So I'm not a big fan of guided meditations, but I thought I'd give this a shot, Deborah. So I did. I had a little interruption, but I still had a flow in there. And of course, it reflected my daily practice, right? So my comfortable spot down below near the tanden. And then I started moving from there. And Ojizo-san is guiding me to around the heart. And he's leading me a little bit further up and out. And there's Daruma. And there are some foot lockers, yeah? So he throws open the foot lockers. They're empty, right? So and then because it's emptiness, right? Emptiness form. Then there's this power, this free flow, and like the power of the universe is there. And then so I came back down, all the while someone was kind of looking at what's going on. But it very much also reflects then that kind of thought train, that feeling. What I do with my clients, I'm really in a huge phase of clients coming to me and me being able to help them through some very acute and chronic conditions where they've been failed by other people because they're stuck, right? And so I'm trying to show them that, get rid of your conditioned thoughts and behaviors, get rid of your delusions, desires, and aversions, start working things, really become embodied yourself, and we can solve these problems. And we do, So I think, for me, my expression these days is really, chuck the conditioning, and let's get real this moment and work it, Yeah.
Yeah. And that's essentially the potential, right?
Yeah.
The authentic self, without all of the inhibitions and the conditioning and the experiences that we've taken as truth forever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my thing these days, is showing people they don't have to buy into all their history, right?
Yeah.
But buy into the strengths that you have, and then like start from there.
Great. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne, did you have any?
No, I wish I did. It's been interesting here. I've been in production mode guiding traffic,
Right.
but and I'm not sure what to make of it, but you started the meditation and the phone here started ringing off the hook of, at least 5 members were calling to renew. There's been like this concentration. So the energy is working here. So I didn't have a chance to really participate.
Right.
Well, I think there's a sense, Deborah, that I get from just hearing everyone share that, we're seeing the convention coming together.
Yeah.
What is it that we bring to the world that is so unique and special and powerful and can activate potential and help people move into that more realized place and out of their painful places, out of their stuck places. And we can come together as a group to share this wisdom and these various approaches that each of us have discovered through our practice and our training and our daily meditation to really support people in their growth.
I think also supporting each other,
And each other.
That's the community part. There's the individual part, the community part, and then what we take into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the community part is what feeds us, also.
Mm-hmm.
As individuals, we support each other in this work also, so that we can take it out into the world. I think that's really important. And I think that's a great segue actually into, unless anybody has anything else they want to share, I wanted to just give you a quick preview of what's going to happen at the convention. So let me share my screen, bear with me. Okay. So let me get this out of the way. Can everybody see the slideshow?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so tending our treasures is our theme for 2021, and we're also including the celebration of our 30 years as an organization. So when the dates are April 30th through May 3rd, 2021. So we've got about a year to get all this together.
After that election.
Save the date, put it in your calendars, right? Where is at the Maritime Conference Center near Baltimore. And just hopefully this little quick slideshow about the place. This is the convention center. And the accommodations are part of the center. You don't have to stay there, but if you use their hotel, you also get breakfast and dinner included. And as part of the convention, you get lunch. So you get all your meals included. And these are the meeting spaces. So our featured presenter is Jeffrey Ewan. And people that we have confirmed so far are Michael Diagro, Bill Helm, Ruth Gold, Ruth Dolphin, who is here, Tom Ryan, Pam Ferguson, Winter Jade, Barbara Escher, Kamala, who's here, Diane Prismus, Lisa Van Ostrand, and Suzanne Yates, who is also here, is going to be doing a post-convention workshop on, so the convention starts on Friday. Jeffrey will be doing a presentation on Friday afternoon and Saturday morning, and we're not scheduling anybody else during the time that he's presenting, so you don't have to make that choice. And Suzanne is going to be doing a standalone post-convention workshop on Sunday afternoon and Monday morning. And we'll be getting out the particulars of what people are going to be presenting in the next few weeks. You can, if you're interested in helping us put this together, please join the convention committee. We're going to be having a meeting on Friday at 11 Eastern time. And if you want to know how to join, you can contact me at president@aobta.org, or you can go on the website and look for the conference group under groups and ask to join. We'd love to have you there. We're going to be doing some more of this kind of stuff as we go through of exploring how we're going to manifest this in the convention. And the theme, as we said, the three treasures, tending the three treasures, the Jing, the Qi, and the Shen. Okay, so any questions or comments?
Well, I wanted to add in about, in a few weeks, we'll be setting up the convention will have its own sort of mini website. And going back to Deborah's idea of sharing stories, being that it's our 30th anniversary, and yes, we are encouraging these stories to be shared. You know, if you have something specific you would like to talk about with our history or your experience of AOBTA or Asian bodywork therapy, like she says, send that to Brian, media@aobta.org. And the idea is we'll have a library of these shared stories as part of that convention website. So that's, I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, it's really interesting reading Cindy's gonna, I think it's 3 parts, right, Brian?
So far, 2 parts. Yeah, we've got this month's Pulse and then one set up for next month's Pulse. But yeah, the whole history.
Yeah.
And, you know, from the personal perspective, right? Because some of these articles we're putting out are more like the facts. This is what changed with the organizations. But it's so great to hear, you know, like walking down the street, here's the Macrobiotic Institute, and these people were kind of playing with each other, and here's how that changed. And so, you know, contact me, give me your personal stories as you feel like it, and then we can decide too, if you're a little bit shy about it, it doesn't have to be blasted out on social media. We can just keep it in the Pulse or whatever, you know, but I'll work with you to see what you want to do. And if you can't really write it up fully yourself, we could do a little interview thing. You know, it just makes things so much juicier when we really share authentically with each other, you know, like how we got into this and how we contributed and where we're going.
Yeah.
I learned some Thai massage hamstring stretching at the New Orleans convention.
And Kara has,
how many years ago was that?
I don't know. 22.
and Kara has her hand up, so.
Oh,
Kara. Oh.
Oh.
Did it go away?
there she is.
There.
I don't know if it can work.
It can.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm new to technology, so I don't understand how it all works, but thanks so much. And AOBTA member since the mid-90s. So
Wow.
AOBTA, and I was at the last convention that we had in 2013, I think, the East Coast, and that was great. So I was going to share, I am the mystery number, this 415 number.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because I have it on speakerphone. But I also was just going to say my Tai Chi teacher had just told me recently, oh, you have good Jing. And I said, Chi, you mean? And she goes, no, Jing. And I was thinking, oh, that's so different. And so I started to study more about it. This was just recently. So it's more of the, from my understanding, that what you're born with inside of your inner fluids of your blood. And then I started doing the meditation on my own. So I really appreciate today's meditation too, of going further into the heart, is where I saw more of the Shen. So I really appreciate this whole, what everyone's been sharing, and the energy of the heart and the energy of what we're born with and where that comes from and where we're going to with our Chi. So I just wanted to add that. And I'm Kara Esborg.
Yeah. Thank you. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you, Kara.
Too.
Yeah, I just remember hearing a lecture from Jeffrey Ewan at one point where he talked, it's the first time I had heard about the whole candle analogy. you know, of the wax being the Jing and the flame being the Qi and the warmth and light being the Shen. And he said that as human beings, it is our purpose to transform the Jing through our activities into Shen. So, yeah.
Sharing the warmth and the light.
Yeah, yeah. And just a sort of a story about that. At one point, I had a client who developed an inoperable brain tumor, and he was a crotchety guy.
Oh.
He was one of those people who didn't let you get away with anything, and he came in at one point to a session, and he said, you know, I really get this now. I understand the difference between curing and healing. And he said, you know, these doctors say they can't cure me, but I'm going to heal. And he did. He lived for 2 years. And by the time he died, people were coming to visit him to be with him because he was so full of light. So that's my example.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, well, I think we're about done. Thank you so much for being here and for being part of our community. And we'll be seeing you. Take care.
Right. Do we know what next month's Lunch and Learn will be yet, Wayne?
I'm working on it.
Brian, okay.
So find it.
One of our presenters from the convention, perhaps?
Yeah, but you know.
Okay.
That's our intention.
I'll talk with you later.
Keep in touch. March is going to be good. Thank you.